Did you know that for years, Godzilla was clickbaited to be coming to Fortnite? Whether that be as a skin, a live event, or simply an Easter egg, that bad boy was coming. And by the way that Fortnite YouTubers were describing his impending arrival, you'd think that Godzilla was actually invading the beaches of real life. Yo, what's up, boys? It's your boy, Carmen the Gamer Boy 73.5, and today we got something super crazy. Godzilla is spawning in-game in Fortnite in collaboration with Steal the Brain Rot. Godzilla will spawn and will give everyone watching 50,000 million V-Bucks, a girlfriend, and 54 sheep to hold as livestock so they can start their own farm. Oh my god, isn't that a steal? What am I doing with my life? This is my job. Today we're going to be going over Fortnite clickbait that actually came true. That's very different for this channel. Usually we just go over clickbait that doesn't come true. Topics, characters, and events that were clickbaited by the Fortnite YouTube community, the bastards, for years, and then eventually came true in one way or another. And if you enjoyed today's video, then be sure to use code BigCraigd in the Fortnite item shop, do a cheeky subscribe, and become a channel member for just $2.99 a month like these smexy people on screen right now to earn some pretty freaking sweet stuff. Now let's start with a classic. The Kraken event. Now, I've actually already covered the Kraken event in a video I made a year ago called More Dumb Fortnite Myths, and the second that the Kraken got confirmed for the Super Showdown event, you all took to the video in droves to let me know that the video had aged like milk. Thanks, guys. The video that is almost a year old does not have modern-day information, only intellectuals takes on the BigCraigd channel. No, you know what? No, I'm just gonna copy exactly what I said in that video. I don't care. The Kraken event myth was created in Chapter 2, Season 1, because the season was so boring. There were like two camps of Fortnite creators back then. You either made a fashion show or you streamed the fake Kraken event. It was one or the other. There was no in between. What was the Kraken going to do? Where was it going to come from? Why was it there? None of these questions were ever answered because the Kraken event was obviously not in the game. Ha! Joke's on you, Craig, from 8 months ago. It did happen. Everyone, let's all point and laugh at this loser. The Kraken event came to the game during the Super Showdown event for Chapter 6, Season 3, and, well, how do you think a Kraken event would be implemented into the game? I mean, maybe it would come out of the water, grab onto a nearby pirate ship, and pull it underwater, causing its crew to become a skeleton crew. Or maybe, just maybe, it was a demonic creature from another dimension which manipulated Daigo into opening a dimensional rift that would take it from the spirit realm dimension into this new reality, and the tentacles come out of the rift and use laser beams to body the whole lobby. You know, it could be either one. Honestly, it's quite sad that the Kraken event actually came into the game. You know, years of clickbait history just vanished in a moment. We will never again get Kraken clickbait in the game, which is kind of sad to me. What am I This is such a non-issue. What am I talking about? The next piece of clickbait is centered around Thanos. After his debut in the Infinity Gauntlet LTM in Chapter 1 Season 4 and his return in Chapter 1 Season 8, people were convinced that he would be getting a skin. And he didn't. Not until the most random time ever in Chapter 2 Season 7, the summer of 2021. Why they decided after all this time that now was the perfect time to add Thanos to the game 2 years after he was killed off into the MCU is beyond me. Spoiler alert, I guess. It's not like Endgame was the most highest grossing movie of all time. Now, it's cool and all for them to add Thanos to the game and everything, but why did they cartoon stretch him? Why did they do that? It was so that Thanos would fit the restrictions of the in-game hitboxes, and if they did not do this, then the skin would become pay to win / pay to lose in these scenarios due to the differences in hitboxes when compared to— Oh, we have a nerd in here, everybody. Look at this nerd over here. Let's all throw tomatoes at him. It's funny because we're all nerds here. You're watching a video called Fortnite Clickbait that came true. Don't act like you're above everyone else. The Chapter 1 map. Ever since it was removed in October of 2019, people had started clickbaiting that the Chapter 1 map would return. Because for some reason, everyone really wanted the Chapter 1 map back after like 6 months on the Chapter 2 map. And the reason a lot of people gave was that Chapter 2 was boring. And like, going to a different map isn't going to change that. It's a content distribution issue, not a map issue, you idiot. It was clickbaited for the Travis Scott event. It was clickbaited for the Device event. It was clickbaited for the Galactus event and the Zero Crisis event. But around Chapter 2 Season 7, people finally started to accept that maybe the Chapter 1 map was just not coming back. And then fast forward 2 years and we're back on the Chapter 1 map. And then fast forward another year and the entire Chapter 1 game mode is permanently in the game. I see. So what happens after the Chapter 1 map clickbait has stopped working? Chapter 2? Revisionist history is what I like to call it. These bums who were complaining about Chapter 2 the entire time turn around and go, oh yeah, I really missed Chapter 2. I loved it. No, you didn't. You weren't there in the trenches defending the honor of Chapter 2 during 2020 and 2021. I loved Chapter 2. And you just come here scooting in sideways 4 years later to pretend like you were one of us. No, you're not. You will never be one of us. Oh yeah, and then the Chapter 2 map came back. Jesus Christ. I gotta stop putting so much energy into these recordings, man. Ninja was also clickbaited a lot in Chapter 1. People kept saying that Ninja was gonna be getting a skin any day now and it was gonna change the course of gaming forever and things would never be the same again. And this was the image they were using to promote the Ninja skin. Like, what even is that? Of course, Ninja did end up getting a skin in the end, and an emote, and most coveted of all, a pickaxe, and his skin even got an update recently with the Blitz Boss Week in Blitz Royale. Well done, Tyler, you really showed them. Spider-Man. One of the most clickbaited skins of all time. Ever since Chapter 1, people would just keep clickbaiting Spider-Man. Trust me, guys, he's on the way, just trust the process. And, I mean, he eventually did come to the game. 10 separate times. The more I think about it, the more insane it was that we didn't get a Spider-Man skin until, like, 2022. Like, think about that for a minute. Spider-Man is one of the most iconic superheroes of all time, alongside Batman, who got a few skins in 2019 and 2021, and Spider-Man fans had to wait until 2022. That is insane. But it was worth the wait because the collab was better than anyone could have ever thought it would be. Not only was the skin just the best thing of all time, but it also came with the Spider-Man gauntlets, which was so good that Epic Games ripped themselves off so they could have a non-copyright version in the game. That's how good it was. My old friend Sleepblaze, on the other hand, would tell you that the Spider-Man gauntlets were terrible and ruined the flow of matches, but guess what? Sleepblaze isn't here anymore, is he? Now, when the Squid Game collab first released, people, including me, were quick to complain that there was no frontman skin. Look, guys, I know it's frustrating that we don't have the frontman, but don't worry, guys, because we have the masked manager. Yeah! Fortnite YouTubers saw this and ran with it. I mean, in my last Fortnite YouTuber video I released a month ago, I saw people clickbait there was going to be this free frontman bundle coming to the game, which would have everything you've ever dreamed of. The frontman skin, an emote, a purpose in life, a spray, it had it all. Now, while this stuff was obviously clickbait, I knew in the back of my mind that we would probably be getting a frontman skin at some point. I had this feeling because of the fact that the UEFN Squid Game maps would be enabled for publishing in late August, and since the final season of Squid Game came out in June, there would be not really any hype for Squid Game at all by at this point, unless Fortnite did something themselves. And what better way to gain interest than by keeping a skin they knew players wanted until the UEFN maps released? It was very smart for them to do this, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. Next, we have what I consider to be one of the most clickbaited skins in Fortnite history outside of the collab space. Midas. I don't know why, but everyone was so obsessed with Midas until Chapter 6. Jesus Christ, you couldn't escape it. Season 4, everyone's like, oh, Midas is a ghost now. He's gonna come back and do something. No, he didn't. And then it was, oh, Midas is mechanized now. He's gonna come back and do something. No, he didn't. And then it was, oh, Midas is wearing shorts. He's gonna come back and do something. No. Oh, he's a frozen creature. He's gonna do something. Wrong. And then it was, oh, he has a spray in the files that relates heavily to the Chrome and the mention of a Loop Breaker project which seems to have ties to Midas. Wrong, buddy, but that wasn't really even your fault. Epic Games were just being silly with it. It wasn't until Chapter 5 Season 2 where Midas finally returned to the story, 4 years after he was killed off in Chapter 2 Season 3. Midas got a new skin, escaped hell, got an LTM, got a boat, and left. Which is not what most people thought he was going to do, I won't lie to you. And yeah, he did come back in Chapter 6, but so far all he's done is spend money on a city that doesn't even exist anymore, and a vault which storyline-wise might not even exist anymore either. Okay. Now let's talk about Jimothy. Jimothy was a Fortnite clickbait YouTuber turned... I don't even know what he's doing anymore. Now, this man thrived during the Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 era, earning tens of thousands of dollars, no doubt. But what makes him so special? Jimothy is known these days not as a clickbaiter, but as a prophet. This is because the majority of what he clickbaited in Chapter 1 and 2 ended up coming true in one way or another. Helicopter vehicle at Dusty Divot, we get 2 helicopters. Shark, we get a loot shark. Golden Omega, right here. Golden DJ Yonder, not even a year later. Black Marshmallow and Gold Marshmallow, yep, that's them. Golden Skull Trooper and Party Trooper, seems right to me. A sword, chainsaw, a ghost ship. Now you might be saying, Craig, when did they add a ghost ship? Take a look at this. That's a ghost ship. Lightsabers, they've been in the game about 50 times. Thor's hammer, Captain America's shield, both as items in-game, and pickaxes, sometimes even back blings, but I don't want to get too cheeky with it. Golden llama, yep, it's right here in Blitz, and it was in the game during Chapter 6, Season 2. Jimothy predicts the volcano. Out comes the volcano. Jimothy says UFOs are on the way. Yep, it gets its own season. He says Iron Man's coming into the game. There's a ton of them. I don't know about you, but to me, this is some serious predictions considering that it was all just made up. I bet this was done on an alt account or something, because maybe even Tim, He's a shifty character. It wouldn't surprise me. Jimothy, come back to Fortnite. Please, just make one video. Just one. That's all I want. Give me a locker bundle. Please, Jimothy. Please. Clickbait of the BigCraigd locker bundle. It would get like 7 views, but it's got to be worth it to me, right, Jimbo? If you enjoyed today's video, then there'll be a funny card on the screen taking you to a video like this one, but better. Also, don't forget to subscribe and use code BigCraigd in the Fortnite item shop so I can afford to buy my locker bundle when it definitely comes to the game. Please, Tim. Tim, I don't ask for much, Tim. Tim, please. Tim, please. Tim, please.